Today we are continuing our series, Living Through Jim Crow. Our show is A Tale of Two Sisters. I have the honor and opportunity to interview my wife's favorite aunts, Bernadette Howard.
13 July 1948.
Miss Howard served 30 years in the United States Marine Corps and retired as a sergeant major. Despite going on two totally different paths, both sisters have very interesting perspectives that are extremely similar in light of their experiences growing up in the Jim Crow South.
Well, it was the norm. It was the regular thing, for black folks. We were on one side of the town, and, and other folks, white folks was on one side of the town. You didn't go over there, and they didn't come over to your side, and you really didn't. Only time you dealt with them is really at, mainly at the grocery stores, because they owned all the stores. And, when you went downtown, they owned all the stores there. A few of us worked in those stores. But it was like you did your thing on your side of the town, and they did their thing on their side of the town. We didn't go to school together. We didn't go to church together. It was like what they say, segregated. They were separate.
Miss Howard's path is slightly different, as she left Augusta, Georgia, and joined the Marine Corps straight out of high school. However, some of her experiences growing up in the Jim Crow South transitioned with her as she went into the military. Listen as she shares some of her experiences going forward.
How long was basic training?
It was 8 weeks.
During that 8-week time period, did you experience any bouts of racism or discrimination while you were there?
Well, of course. It was the norm. As a black growing up in Augusta, like I said, you stayed in your space. They stayed in their space. And basically, they didn't. The white Caucasian recruits didn't really deal with us or talk to us, or in our little group. That's why I say it was just three of us. I know for sure that we're together, and we just stayed separate. We didn't deal with each other as normal. It was something I was used to. They stayed on their side, and we stayed on our side. When we had to get stuff done, of course, we had to do it as a group. And, of course, we got it done. But as far as going out of their way to talk to us, or we going out of our way to talk to them was not happening.
After leaving Augusta, Georgia, and then spending the first 8 to 12 weeks in training in South Carolina, Ms. Howard found herself being stationed at her first duty station in California and finding out very quickly that the climate with regards to Jim Crow and how races interacted with each other didn't change no matter what part of the country you lived in.
Coming out of the South, was this the first time you had ever been to California?
Yes.
How was it when you first got there? Was it in terms of, we're talking, you're in 67 by this point in time. Was there any difference when you first got out there that you noticed?
At that point, no. Again, 67, being a black girl from the South, being kind of, both of my friends went to California with me, as a matter of fact. The three of us went through boot camp, through school, and to San Diego together. And we kind of hung together. The barracks, of course, was integrated. It was like a big room with partitions, to separate the little areas they call cubicles, with wall lockers and partitions. You could rig up a curtain to cover your doorway so folks could actually see in. But you could hear everything that was going on. And basically, again, the Caucasians stayed together, and the black folks stayed together, even as far as bunkmates are concerned. It had at least 2 people in each cubicle. So it was kind of difficult, dealing with Caucasians, in the workspace there, because you could see that they really didn't care for you, and they wanted to give you the menial jobs,
But for you though, for your generation, if you thought it was racism, and you know better because you served 30 years and so forth, would you say that there are more mechanisms now to allow for service members to be able to report things that they think might be racism as opposed to when you came in?
Of course it is. You didn't have anybody to report it to when you came in, unless you want to say, this Caucasian person is racist. You're going to have to report it to another Caucasian person, and you weren't confident to even go talk to another white person about this white person being racist, because hell, they may be racist too and make it worse for you. I remember on one occasion when the afros originally first came out, everybody was wearing afros, and I was called to the battalion sergeant major's office because I was wearing an afro. They wanted me to change my hairstyle, and the comment she made, wouldn't it be easier for you to press your hair out than to wear an afro? No, it wouldn't. So you really didn't have anybody to complain to at that time or to talk to.
So how did they deal with the afro situation?
I told her I was going to, it wasn't easier. And I never had to change it. She didn't make me change it. She didn't make me do anything to it. I don't guess she could. Legally.
Thank you for tuning in to another edition of In the Know. I am Tony Reeves. I'm so glad you were joining me.